welcome to RFL. I'm Andrew Whitman in for Richard French. Day 3 of the Democratic National Convention and big names taking to the stage tonight. The list includes President Obama and Vice President Biden. But Donald Trump is stealing some of their thunder and their headlines with some controversial comments he made today about Russia and Hillary Clinton's emails. Let's get the very latest as we go to Karen Travers. She's live at the convention with more. Good evening, Karen.
Good evening. Hillary Clinton is already here in Philadelphia, and tonight the White House shifts here as well. President Obama and Vice President Biden making their sales pitches for Hillary Clinton. And today, an incredible development in what has been a very unpredictable campaign season. Donald Trump stealing the spotlight from the Democrats, and this time bringing Russia with him. Donald Trump putting the DNC email hack front and center in the race for the White House.
I'm not going to tell Putin what to do.
The Clinton campaign and Democratic officials pointing the finger at Russia for the recent hack of the DNC's email server. Federal officials believe Russian government operatives then gave DNC emails to WikiLeaks in an effort to influence the presidential election. And in a stunning statement, Trump today encouraging Russia to do it again to Clinton's own server.
Russia, if you're listening, I hope you're able to find the 30,000 emails that are missing.
The Clinton campaign firing back, saying Trump's comments now escalate what was a political matter to one of national security. And at the DNC tonight, an all-star lineup, President Obama, Vice President Biden, and Clinton running mate Tim Kaine. Exactly 12 years ago today, Obama making his national debut with his DNC keynote address as a candidate for Senate.
There is not a black America and a white America and Latino America and Asian America. There's the United States of America.
Tonight, the president will reflect on where the country has come since then and make his case for why Clinton has the experience, toughness, and smarts to take his place in the White House. Expect a clear contrast to Trump and Tim Kaine in the biggest speech of his political career.
I would expect to hear two things, which is Spanish and Scripture. Both are regular parts of his stump speech, and both are a big part of his appeal.
There will also be a focus on gun violence tonight. Remarks from the families of victims as well as survivors of mass shootings, including former Congresswoman Gabby Giffords. Reporting live from Philadelphia, Karen Travers, ABC News. Back to you.
All right, Karen, thank you very much. And trust me, we will get into Donald Trump and his comments later on in the program, but we're going to stay focused on Philadelphia and the DNC. And for analysis, let's turn to our panel. We're joined tonight by Dominic Carter, political journalist and author, and by Mayor Noam Bramson. Mayor Bramson is the Democratic mayor of New Rochelle. I think you're the only Democratic elected official in New York State not in Philadelphia. So thank you for making us the consolation prize.
Someone had to stand up for Westchester County, so I'm happy to be here.
Appreciate it,
Mr. Mayor.
So there's a lot on the agenda tonight at the convention, as we just heard from Karen Travers. But I want to start by looking at last night, and the headliner was Bill Clinton in his address, and he gave a very personal story of his time knowing Hillary Clinton, the story of their relationship. But then he also made what I thought might have been the best selling point I've heard so far for Hillary Clinton for president. Let's play that clip from Bill Clinton.
What's the difference in what I told you and what they said? How do you square it? You can't. One is real, the other is made up. You just have to decide which is which, my fellow Americans. The real one had done more positive change making before she was 30 than many public officials do in a lifetime in office. The real one, if you saw her friend Betsy Eveling vote for Illinois today, has friends from childhood through Arkansas, where she has not lived in more than 20 years, who have gone all across America at their own expense to fight for the person they know. The real one has earned the loyalty, the respect, and the fervent support of people who have worked with her in every stage of her life, including leaders around the world who know her to be able, straightforward, and completely trustworthy. The real one calls you when you're sick, when your kid's in trouble, or when there's a death in the family.
The real one, talking about the choice between the two candidates. Mr. Mayor, first of all, your thoughts about Bill Clinton's address last night?
It was great. And look, Bill Clinton is one of the enormous talents of our times, and everyone knows that when he gets up in front of the convention, he's going to say something that's worth listening to. And he certainly didn't disappoint last night. And you know, the Clinton campaign is fond of saying, and they're right, that Hillary Clinton is the most famous person that you don't really know. And it's correct. And so he really accomplished, I think, two things. One is to remind people about this extraordinary life that Hillary Clinton has led, which at every stage has involved reaching out and helping people and making their lives better, and offering specific examples of how she's really labored in the vineyards in a way that reflects enormous energy and enormous commitment and a deep-seated passion for public service. And that's been the sort of the thread that's joined every aspect of her life. And then I think Clinton really made a point about political morality and political character in saying that it's about how you actually affect outcomes, whether you actually lift people up. It's not just about what you say, it's not just about how you sort of express yourself, it's what you do. And he pointed out that this is often hard work. He even used the word, it's sometimes boring work. You know, speech making is easy, it's what you actually do that matters. And I think that's what defines Hillary Clinton. So this is a reintroduction for the American people for someone that they may have thought they knew, but in fact did not.
But if we're talking about, Dominic, political morality and political character, there are a couple of strikes against Bill Clinton on that front.
I agree with the assessment of the mayor. He is correct, and I'm looking at this down the middle as much as possible. It was a way of introducing Secretary Clinton, frankly, to a younger generation that may not know many of the great things that she has done. You can't take that away from her. Helping the physically disabled, helping minorities, helping children. She's done some remarkable things in her life, and unfortunately she's been branded effectively by the Republicans, the Whitewaters and so on. I thought the president did a great job. It took him too long to make the point. But he opened himself and his wife up to tremendous criticism. Now I'm looking at this as a political reporter. I don't even have to use the words infidelity. All I have to do is run a commercial, if I'm a consultant, with Bill Clinton saying, not woman, I met this girl, and then cut to him being impeached in the House. And you could tell the story of, you know, every marriage goes through its ups and downs, but this is something that the Republicans are looking to hang. Donald Trump has made it very clear around Bill Clinton's neck and Hillary Clinton's.
It is a flashback to the 90s for good and for bad, Mr. Mayor.
Everyone knows about that. It's all baked into the cake. And I think what people needed is a reintroduction to the things that have made Hillary Clinton one of the truly great public servants of the last 25 years. And more than that, in fact. And you know, when you hear about what she did in quiet ways, out of the spotlight, to assist the disabled, to fight against discrimination, to lift up kids who needed a better education, to go into poor communities and try to make a difference in the lives of families that were struggling. All of these things, I think, reflect someone who believes so passionately that the role of government and the role of people in government is to try to create a more perfect society. And that is, for all the folks who say, oh, she doesn't believe in anything, she's inauthentic, all that nonsense, which I've never believed, those are data points that illustrate something else. The authenticity and the genuineness that people in this country say they are hungry for is in fact present throughout Hillary Clinton's life and is something that she would bring to the White House.
Looking ahead to prime time tonight, and it's an impressive list of speakers that we're going through, obviously the president and the vice president, but also scheduled to speak tonight, Gabby Giffords and Mark Kelly as gun control becomes a major focus, Michael Bloomberg, the former mayor of New York City, Leon Panetta, and of course Tim Kaine, the vice presidential nominee. And Mr. Mayor, for me, obviously Biden and Obama, the vice president and the president, obviously, you know, got to watch those. But Gabby Giffords, Mark Kelly, and Michael Bloomberg, I'm fascinated as to what they say and how their message is received.
Well, I think there's no question that Gabby Giffords will be an emotional focal point of the convention. I mean, we all know the horrific incident that shattered her life, and yet to have the courage and strength of purpose to emerge from a tragedy like that and be a powerful national spokesperson for gun safety is truly inspiring. So I expect that's going to be an emotional moment for the convention. And having Mike Bloomberg there, that's a real coup. I mean, this is someone who was elected as a Republican in New York City, who is an independent, who thought about running for president himself in this cycle and has thought about running for president in prior years. And I think will speak very powerfully to independents who may not have felt comfortable with either of the major party candidates this year, but he'll be able to say, look, if you're of my persuasion, you're not overly partisan, but you want what's best for the country, this is really a clear and easy choice. And so he's an important validator for Hillary.
We got about 30 seconds, Dominic. Do you think Bloomberg goes on the attack against Donald Trump, or do you think he defends Hillary Clinton?
I agree again with the mayor. I feel that knowing Bloomberg somewhat, he is going to gently and maybe not so gently, he's going to put Donald Trump in his place. When you look at the two billionaires, Michael Bloomberg, Donald Trump, everyone that's covered both of them knows that Bloomberg is the real billionaire. He's the one that Donald Trump pretends to be. And so after Trump had this day of stealing headlines with these outrageous comments that we'll get to later, I think the Democrats are going to put him in his place tonight.
And again, more on Trump in just a few minutes. Up next, our own Richard French is live at the DNC, and he'll be speaking with former Attorney General Eric Holder. But first, we want to take you to break with part of Rich's interview with Connecticut Senator Chris Murphy.
We're spending tonight and tomorrow night in this convention, 2 of our 4 nights, talking about gun violence because A, it's a core value for her, but B, it already is a political winner at the polls. 80 to 90% of Americans support the kind of things we're talking about, like universal background checks, and some polls suggest that Republicans and gun owners actually support these things at a rate higher than Democrats do. So it's a winning issue in the general election.